that the judge ruled against Blake. This is a massive, massive win for Justin. Yeah, we're allowed to get those texts. And now the thought of getting those texts must be making Blake want to climb off a mountain because
Justin Baldoni just got access to Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's private texts. But why does that matter? And what could possibly be in them? What started as a legal feud is unraveling into something much deeper. Power plays, hidden agendas, and a celebrity friendship caught in the crossfire. This isn't just about a lawsuit. It's about what's been said behind closed doors, and what happens when those doors are forced open. Keep watching, because the real story hasn't even begun yet. Number 1. Judge grants access to Taylor's texts. In a courtroom twist no one expected, a federal judge has now allowed Justin Baldoni's legal team access to private messages between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. Not rumors, not speculation, actual texts, the kind that could shift a narrative or shatter one completely. This decision came down from U.S. District Judge Lewis Lyman, who determined that the texts are relevant and proportionate to the ongoing legal battle surrounding claims of harassment and retaliation on the set of Baldoni's now-stalled film project. And if that already sounds messy, it gets worse, because these aren't just any messages. These are conversations between two of the most closely watched women in pop culture, dragged into the center of a lawsuit they didn't file, but may now be forced to explain. Let's pause here. Imagine for a second that you're Taylor Swift. Your name wasn't on the lawsuit. You weren't listed as a producer. You were simply doing what you've done before, offering a song. A favor, maybe. A license agreement. Nothing more. But now, your private texts are being pored over by lawyers. Their tone, their timing, their intent. Every sentence is suddenly open to legal interpretation. Every emoji a potential headline. Judge Lyman has issued a protective order, so these texts aren't going public anytime soon. Not officially, at least. But in today's world, private is a fragile word. One accidental leak, one anonymous source, and it could all be out there, unfiltered, out of context, weaponized by either side. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about fairness. It's about leverage, public sympathy, damage control, and possibly revenge. And yet, Taylor's team has insisted from the start. She had no involvement in the production itself. Just a song. That's it. So then why are her texts with Blake so important to this case? What exactly do they prove or contradict? That's where things start to spiral. Because the moment these messages were approved for discovery, the tone of the case changed. Suddenly, we're not just looking at a he-said/she said between co-stars. We're staring down a power struggle where texts, those casual late-night confidences between friends, may become courtroom exhibits. And it begs the question, are we about to see a friendship weaponized in real time? Number 2, why Taylor Swift matters. From the outside, it looks simple. Taylor Swift contributed a song, My Tears Ricochet, to the film in question. A creative gesture, a licensing deal, something artists do all the time. But behind the scenes, lawyers began asking questions. Why that song? Why this project? And most importantly, how involved was Taylor, really? Justin Baldoni's legal team doesn't think this was just about music. They believe Swift may have played a more active role in the film's development, possibly even influencing key decisions behind the camera. From casting choices to script tweaks, there's now speculation that her presence went far beyond a soundtrack. And that possibility, true or not, is what led to the court granting access to her private messages with Blake Lively. Here's where things start to feel more personal. Blake and Taylor have long been known as inseparable friends. Publicly loyal, always supportive. But in legal terms, that kind of friendship opens the door to influence, intent, and even coordination. If Taylor knew about Blake's concerns before they became public, or worse, if she encouraged Blake to speak out, then this becomes more than a lawsuit. It becomes a calculated move with star power behind it. Taylor's team, of course, strongly denies any such involvement. They've maintained from the start that she was simply a contributor, not a producer, not a decision-maker, and certainly not a co-conspirator. But that hasn't stopped the speculation from spiraling. In today's culture, silence breeds suspicion. And with Swift's reputation as a mastermind, someone known for planning every detail, every rollout, every move, it's not hard to see why some believe there's more to this story. And let's not forget, the song she contributed isn't some random B-side. My Tears Ricochet is one of her most haunting tracks, a song about betrayal, ghosts of the past, and emotional wreckage. Symbolic? Maybe. Strategic? Possibly. Coincidental? That's what fans and lawyers are trying to figure out. What's chilling is how fast the narrative can flip. One day, you're donating a song to a friend's project. The next, your messages are in the hands of opposing counsel, and headlines are asking if you helped take someone down from the shadows. The question isn't just did Taylor know? It's, How much did she know? And if the texts reveal more than her camp has let on, then this legal battle is about to get a lot messier. Number 3, Blake's leverage strategy. If Taylor Swift is the mystery in this case, then Blake Lively is the pressure point. And it's not just what she said publicly that has everyone talking. It's what she may have held back. According to sources close to the legal battle, Blake didn't just provide evidence, she wielded it. Strategically, intentionally, and possibly as a form of leverage. Here's what we know. Blake's legal team handed over certain messages, but only after negotiations. Some communications were reportedly teased before they were shared, almost like a warning shot. Behind closed doors, it's been described as a show of force, a signal to the opposing side that she wasn't afraid to go public if things didn't go her way. In legal circles, that's not uncommon. But in Hollywood, it's a power move with career-shaping consequences. Let's be clear, this doesn't mean Blake did anything illegal. But it does raise the question, was this about justice or control? Because remember, this isn't a case happening quietly. The court filings may be sealed, but the reputations involved are not. If even one damaging message between her and Taylor were to leak, it wouldn't just affect the lawsuit. It could fracture the public's perception of both women. So if Blake truly threatened to leak or expose something behind the scenes, even just hypothetically, then she wasn't just navigating a legal system. She was playing a chess game. One where the king and queen are names on billboards. And that's where the public started speculating. Some fans on Reddit believe Blake may have used the potential of these texts as a bargaining chip. Perhaps to pressure a settlement, to influence the narrative, or to protect her own standing in a rapidly shifting PR storm. One viral comment even said, "If Taylor's as innocent as they say, why is her team working this hard behind the scenes? It's giving damage control." Of course, we don't know what's in those messages. Not yet. But we do know this. Blake and Taylor have always been seen as a united front. So if their conversations contain anything that undermines that image, or worse, suggests that Blake was encouraged to go public, it could send shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry. What started as friendship may now be a fragile alliance built on shared secrets. And the moment one of those secrets slips, everything could fall apart. Number 4, legal crossfire and PR wars. This case stopped being just about justice a long time ago. Now it's a full-blown public chess match, one part courtroom drama, one part Hollywood PR war. And both sides are playing to win. Justin Baldoni's countersuit was recently dismissed. His attempt to legally strike back was shut down by the court, and almost immediately, Blake Lively's team framed it as a textbook Darvo move: deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. In simpler terms, they claimed Baldoni wasn't defending himself. He was flipping the narrative. Fast. But while legal teams filed motions and made statements, something else started happening. Subtle. Strategic. The kind of moves that don't show up in court transcripts, but do show up on your feed. Blake Lively's side began quietly shaping the narrative. Carefully worded statements, selective leaks, and a series of sources close to the actress that began painting a picture of strength, bravery, and moral clarity. Meanwhile, Baldoni's public presence shifted. His once vibrant online image became quieter, more cautious. Posts slowed. Mentions of the project vanished. Why? Because in celebrity culture, silence is rarely just silence. It's often survival. And Taylor Swift? Radio silent. No statement. No repost. Not even a cryptic lyric. But behind that silence, her PR machine kicked into high gear. Interviews were reshuffled. Media mentions controlled. Entire narratives pivoted. To the public, she seemed untouched. But inside the industry, insiders whispered that her team was running crisis containment simulations, just in case. This is where the story fractures into two realities. In the court of law, motions are filed and judged based on evidence. But in the court of public opinion, it's about who speaks first, who looks more believable, and who can hold the attention of a distracted audience the longest. And the stakes are high, because if Baldoni was wrongfully accused, his entire career may be irreparably damaged. If Blake was manipulated into speaking out, she could lose credibility in the industry. And if Taylor's involvement goes deeper than anyone is admitting, she risks more than a headline. She risks brand collapse. But we're not done, because there's one thing neither legal team can fully control: the fans. And they're not staying silent much longer. Number 5, fans and media react. The moment the news broke that Justin Baldoni had gained access to Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's private messages, social media exploded. Not quietly, not respectfully, loudly, and very, very divided. On one side, fans rallied to defend Taylor and Blake with the kind of intensity only the internet can generate. "This is just another witch hunt," one tweet read, racking up nearly 500,000 likes. "They're powerful women, they scare people. That's all this is." Others accused Baldoni of using the texts as a smokescreen. suggesting he was trying to distract from more serious allegations by turning the spotlight onto Swift's fame. But on the other side, a different kind of narrative started gaining traction. Reddit threads speculated that Blake and Taylor's private conversations could reveal a premeditated strategy. "This feels coordinated," one top-voted comment said. "Like they knew what they were doing before this even became public." Another user asked, "What if Taylor isn't just involved? What if she's essential to Blake's entire case?" That's the problem with fame. It amplifies everything, including doubt. And while fans argued, the media watched and capitalized. Major entertainment outlets like TMZ, Entertainment Tonight, and the Daily Mail churned out headlines at breakneck speed. Every minor update became breaking news. Every unnamed source quote turned into fuel for another article. The tone, dramatic, teasing, and dangerously close to pushing the story into full-on media circus territory. It didn't help that paparazzi began trailing the stars again, hoping to catch a reaction, a smirk, a side glance. Anything that could be interpreted as a response. One blurry photo of Taylor looking at her phone was captioned, "Swift reads legal bombshell?" Another of Blake exiting a coffee shop. Lively keeps her cool amid lawsuit storm. In reality, it was probably just a Tuesday. But in the tabloid world, every blink is evidence. And underneath all the noise, there's something deeper happening. Fans aren't just reacting to the case, they're projecting onto it. It's no longer about who's right or wrong. It's about whose version of the truth they want to believe. But what if none of them are fully right? What if the real story is something that hasn't even been leaked yet? Because the fans may be loud, but the texts? They're still silent. Number 6. What could be in the texts? Right now, the messages between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively are sealed behind court orders. No screenshots. No leaks. Just silence and speculation. But that silence is deafening. Because everyone knows that in high-profile cases like this, private texts aren't just messages. They're potential landmines. So let's ask the question that everyone's avoiding. What could possibly be in them? To understand the weight of this, you have to think about who we're dealing with. Taylor Swift isn't just a celebrity. She's a cultural force, a brand built on storytelling, loyalty, and meticulous control over her image. Every post, every lyric, every public appearance is calculated with care. Now imagine the public getting an unfiltered look at how she communicates when the cameras aren't rolling. No captions, no PR team, just her voice raw, unedited, and real. If the texts are casual and friendly, they might not matter. But if they show Taylor giving advice about how to handle the situation with Baldoni, if they hint at her knowing about potential claims before they were public, or worse, if they read as coordinated damage control, it could change everything. Suddenly, it's not just Blake's voice in the legal storm. It's Taylor's too. There's also the risk of tone. Texts are notoriously easy to misinterpret. A sarcastic joke, a venting moment, a sentence taken out of context. Any of these could be reframed in court, or in the media, as intent, manipulation, or bias. And once it's out there, there's no taking it back. Then there's the wild card, private opinions. These are two close friends. What if the messages contain gossip about others involved? Names we haven't even heard yet? If that information comes out, it could pull even more celebrities into the spotlight. And that's when the story really stops being about a lawsuit and starts being about a cultural reckoning. Because in a digital age, your texts aren't just private conversations. They're receipts. And no matter how powerful you are, no brand is immune to fallout if those receipts say the wrong thing. So the big question isn't what's in the texts. It's what are people afraid is in them? Number 7. Next steps in the legal maze. With the texts officially in play, the lawsuit has now entered its most unpredictable phase yet, discovery. This is the part where both legal teams dig. Emails, contracts, and yes, private messages. It's quiet, it's slow, but it's where the real damage often begins. Right now, everything related to Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's conversations is under a protective order. That means the public can't see the texts. Journalists can't access them. Even leaks would be considered a legal violation. But here's the thing no one's saying out loud. Just because something's protected doesn't mean it's safe. Lawyers call this phase the waiting game. Behind the scenes, each team builds its version of the truth, assembling timelines, identifying contradictions, crafting narratives. It's like preparing for war with words as weapons. And if either side believes the texts could flip the balance of public opinion, you can bet they're already figuring out how to use that to their advantage. And it's not just about winning in court anymore. It's about protecting careers, managing reputations, and shaping the narrative that fans will remember. That's why you've seen the social media silence. That's why no one's doing interviews. They're all waiting to see who moves first and how the public reacts. Justin Baldoni's team is reportedly gearing up for a full trial in early 2026. And between now and then, every new filing, every court appearance, every sealed exhibit has the potential to spark headlines. Because eventually, someone is going to ask the question no one wants to answer. If the texts are so harmless, why are they being guarded this tightly? And maybe they are harmless. Maybe this all ends with nothing more than awkward phrasing and misunderstood jokes. But maybe not. That's the tension. That's what's keeping everyone on edge. There's no resolution yet. No public verdict. Just the knowledge that something is sitting behind legal glass, and one day, someone might break it. So what's next? Possibly depositions. Possibly settlement talks. Or maybe, just maybe, the texts surface in trial, read aloud for the world to hear. The texts are sealed. The silence is strategic. And the truth? Still out of reach. But when the courtroom doors finally open, will it be justice or just another performance? We'll find out soon enough.